What's happening? Ooh, are we good? Are we live? Are we doing the thing? I hope so. Yeah. Let's hit it. Is there a delay I'm seeing here? Hi, welcome everybody. I'm trying a new thing here. My name is Zach. I run this channel called Audibly Dumb. Welcome to AudiblyChill. I'm using OBS for the first time. I think we've got just a little bit of a delay. But that being said, what's good, everybody? Good to see you all. So, first things first, little bit of housekeeping. I'm using OBS for the first time, so that should mean right now you hear me talk, but the playing section should sound like this. Is that any better than in the past? I hope it is. Does that sound better? I'm aware that playing a guitar directly to a microphone on a camera kind of sucks. AudiblyChill Live. Is there any clipping, anything like that? I did as much testing as I could before I hit record. Hell yeah! Also, what do you think of the new cockpit? I want to be comfy. I'm done skipping Sundays. I want to hang with you people. You know what I mean? Oh my goodness. Perfect. That is what I want to hear. We're going to do one more test. And that test is going to be with some higher gain. So, let's see how this goes. Is that better? Any clipping? That's the final test, and then we'll get locked in. Because if that's good, then it's all going to be good. Tight. That's all I really need to know. Oh, so how are we doing? How was this week? Hell yeah. I'm sure it sounds better than before. How's everybody doing this week? Anybody go to any shows? Any concerts at all? I was supposed to go to a concert last weekend. I bailed. Your boy bailed. I'm 30 years old. I got off of work and I was like, I don't feel like going. Like, oh my God. I just did not feel like staying out until 11 p.m. System of a Down kind of week. That could be good or bad. Depends on the vibe. I hope it was okay. Oh man. Yeah, crazy week. I missed my day. I had to work 11 hours on my day off. I didn't get to play much guitar. Also, caffeine today brought to you by Death Before Decaf. Fantastic local company making cold brews here in Denver, Colorado. Yeah, this last weekend I was supposed to go see Unprocessed. I just couldn't jive. Couldn't do it. Honestly, I probably should have gone. But that's okay. You win some, you lose some. So, you may notice behind me here, we got a new amp. As you all know, I love my Fender Princeton. My Fender Princeton is an amazing amplifier, right? The clean sound is amazing. Turns out, what I was trying to go for, the Princeton lacked purely from an EQ perspective, and that is that crystal clear, hear the pick through the note thing. I tried really hard to get it to work, And then I had that dual amp rig with the solid state power amp. If anybody here know who Rabia Masad is, he's kind of unbelievable. Well, he talks about a thing called preamp swapping. Using the effects loop of an amplifier so you can use digital preamps and a tube power amp to drive it. And the result, I think, is pretty gorgeous. Let me know your thoughts. Right? Yeah, B is fantastic. So what you're hearing there is the Big Cali preamp digital model in the Helix being amplified by the power amp section of this Friedman PT20. I really enjoy it. It's almost like that impossibly clean digital thing. It wouldn't cut through in a mix, right? But by itself, for just solo clean playing, I think it does really well. And then I have this one button programmed on here that basically, wherever I'm at in the gain stages, this adds just a little bit of a hair to it. So I'll play the whole like impossibly clean thing, click that one button, and immediately it should jump out a little bit more, get a little bit more hair on it as well. Right? Like a hollow body electric being played acoustically. Wow. A linguist is amongst us. That was very eloquently put. It is it's so much more flexible, and there's something to be said about tubes. Tubes do a thing, man. And I love digital. I do. I'm going to take you through all the settings here in a little bit, but just from a pure tone standpoint, there is a warmth and just a realness to tubes that I could not achieve with digital and solid state. So this is the Friedman PT20. The PT stands for Pink Taco. Fucking insane name. This is a 9-year-old V1 head. It's single channel. There's not even a standby. It's literally on, off, bass, middle, treble, master, and gain. That's it. And then the effects loop is fantastic. It's not noisy at all. Also, another improvement, turns out every single outlet in this basement is not grounded at all. So all this shit, there was just ground noise all the time. So now, all of this, I got a 50-foot extension cord going out of my basement, up the stairs to the next floor. Now it's all grounded, so no ground noise. Crazy. But yeah, so it's a simple amplifier, and what it does best is medium to high gain, and this is the setting that I have it on right now. So none of what you're about to hear is the Helix. This is just the amp. stop yelling. I gotta be honest with you, it's loud as shit in here. I convinced my wife to let me just start playing like way louder than I should. She supports Audibly Dumb. So I hope that sounds sick. In the room it sounds really good. I just cannot. I couldn't get full digital to do that, right? Without using impulse responses and like cab sims and stuff. If you're just going to a real cab, digital and solid state could not do that. But that's the Friedman PT20. 20 watts. I'm going into my 212 with vintage 30s, right? It's fat. Lot of bass, dude. Oh my god. So like the bass in that thing is so thick. It goes up to 12. I think I have it on 3. Boosting some mids, boosting some treble. The master's on like 3.5, and then the gain's on 6. So pretty cool. Any of the musicians in the house, did you play any music this week? Did you learn anything new? What are we doing? I feel like I'm just yammering right now, you know? Yeah, regarding the grounding, I totally understand. It's a little freaky, but, you know, we're good now. This coffee is slapping. I gotta tell you. It is absolutely smacking right now. Alright, we're still good. Sorry for the little fiddling here. It's my first time using OBS. I got OBS open, and then I got the chat in like a separate window. It's a whole thing. I got to flip back and forth between the mics. Any hooser. Creedence Clearwater Revival. Did you see John Fogerty was just on Joe Rogan? That episode was awesome. I actually don't know how to play that song. I'll give it a gander this week. That's a dope song to learn. Creedence, man. Foundational rock. In the Joe Rogan interview with John Fogerty, he talked about he literally got sued for sounding like himself. Do you guys see that at all? That's insane. That is absolute nuts. So, like, I guess he came out with new music, and then a member of the band from back in the day who had rights to Creedence sued him for sounding like him. Even though, like, John Fogerty is CCR. Crazy. I do not understand. Oh my goodness. I mean, I don't know. Copyright laws protect a lot of folks, right? I mean, you should be able to copyright stuff. Crazy. Dude, it's just, here's the problem. Take something innocent like that, right? Artists should be able to protect what they do. That there has to be some built-in stuff there. But someone's always going to try to take advantage of it. Always. You know what I mean? It's crazy. I honestly, I don't know how I feel about the topic in general, because a lot of folks, you know, they talk about taking advantage of artists, especially when they're young. Yeah, like that certainly does happen, has happened. It's a story as old as time, but a lot of those opportunities put those artists like where they are, right? It's like a catch-22. I don't like seeing people getting fucked over, but though that same system, that same organization of stuff has catapulted a lot of people to some real life-changing situations, right? Fascinating. Real quick, I want to see how much of a delay there is here. I'm going to say the word France. As quick as you can, type France. A little bit. Okay, that's fine. We'll figure that out. Okay, not too bad. We're good. But yeah, it's a really interesting topic, talking about like ownership rights and stuff. It's crazy. But yeah, so I am going to take you guys through the setup here real quick. I'm going to be making a video about this too, because I'm pretty stoked about it. The first setting, like I said, is that like impossibly digital clean thing. And then at any point I can click that hair button. It's like an edge of breakup kind of tone. The next gain stage is actually adding a prize drive, which is based on a Noble's ODR1 legendary pedal. Listen to the difference. I love what it's doing here. It still sounds like the same amp, but it's just crunchy. You know what I'm saying? It really is. It's awesome. And then I can hit that hair button and add just a little bit of saturation on top of it. It's so sick. And what I'm aiming for here is more clarity and more top end. The third gain stage actually adds a valve driver. It's based on the Chandler tube driver. And that is literally just going to bring in a little bass, and it's going to add a slight bit more saturation and tighten that up even more. I'll show you before and after the valve driver. Super sick. I can add hair on top of that. Right? So that right there is really going for that piercing higher end, but still I feel like it's pleasant to listen to. And then when we switch over to the Friedman has a Timmy going in the front of it, very low gain. It's more so for tightening up that, and it's got a little bit of a bass cut, because like I said, the bass on the Friedman is just absolutely ridiculous. man, my chops are not up to snuff today. That being said, that Friedman can also have that little hair button put on the top, and when you do that, you get this. And that is about as much gain as I could possibly want. To be fair, it's probably too much. But that's cool. That is all the gain staging. It gets like... Honestly, the reason why I dig this is because it forces me... It's just going to force me to be a better guitar player. It's a lot more articulate than the prior setup that I had. And if you're playing great, it sounds great. If you're sloppy a little bit, not so much. I cannot see how many people are actually in. Oh, okay. We got a few cats up in here. I will say, I've never played through a Friedman before. This Friedman amp is insane. It sounds fantastic. It's like a one-trick pony, but that one trick, man. And then the rest of the board is literally just doing modulation. I got a couple delays, a couple reverbs. I'll take you through that. Up front is a spring, and then like trying to do a little bit of a longer decay slapback thing. So at any point, this is a completely dry amplifier, so at any point I can add just a little bit of 16th dotted delay and a little bit of spring. I then have an 8th dotted delay and a Hall reverb tied to one button. So when I click one button, both of those come on at the same time. Bit of a longer decay, but it doesn't like muddy it up the mix at all. It just kind of gives it a bunch of space. Super cool. This button has a long, thick plate reverb, and then a quarter dotted delay that, once again, it just kind of goes on forever, right? I love that. I could play that for hours, right? I think that sounds super sick. I've never really been a big vibrato person or harmonic tremolo person, but I have been toying around with kind of a faster harmonic vibrato. So that was the harmonic vibrato with the whole reverb and the eighth dotted delay. I think that sounds sick. What do you guys think? Am I just rambling here? I feel like I'm just like having a good time. do 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 do. Yeah, are those sounds coming through okay? I hope so. Solid. Yeah, I used to shy away from modulation just because, like, it's really easy to make wet effects sound like poop. Thank you, dude. Thank you so much. I will say, though, phaser has become, like, just, it's got to be one of my favorites at this point, especially on clean sounds. I know a lot of people do phaser on, like, dirty stuff, but on clean tones. Love it, love it, love it. And any combination of all of that, really long, thick reverb and delay, we'll go ahead and do with the phaser and the dirt button pressed, right? So a little bit of dirt, a long delay, some phaser, and some reverb, right? Is that a little messy? Fuck yeah, it is, but it's fun. Like, that's it. People get really tied into, like, good tone, bad tone, and don't get me wrong, I want it to sound great, but at the end of the day, especially if you're just hanging by yourself, are you having fun? That's, if you never play live a day in your life, but you find a way to have fun with music, damn, dude, that's what's up. That is the sauce. Riley Reid noises. Oh, hey, you'll notice I don't do the Riley Reid thing anymore. I almost got in trouble for that. I was informed by the internet that the Riley Reid impressions are not family friendly. Even though I click, this content is not made for children. So now it's a tasteful squawk. Ah! You know what I mean? Which I totally understand. I don't know. I get why it's frowned upon, but at the same time, she's the one who got naked on the internet. Right? I mean, who's really crossing the line there? Completely unrelated. Audibly Dumb is on OnlyFans. Thank you so much. Moving on. Rebels, babe. Rebels. I'm serious, though. When my wife's OnlyFans page starts to kick off, I'm retiring, dog. I can't wait. Wait till my wife finds out she has an OnlyFans, dude. Oh. That was a joke, by the way. If the internet overlords are listening, AI, the algorithm, whatever, that was called a joke. This channel's called Audibly Dumb. I could not have been more forthright about the subject material. Oh, man. Also, real quick, I want to shout out Texas Toast Guitars again. I have played this every single day for a month and a half straight. It has become like one of my absolute most favorite guitars I've ever had. The Charlie Christian pickup is so unbelievably gorgeous. It really is. Matter of fact, I've done live streams in the past where this has obviously been on it, right? But not with the proper sound in the stream. So like, seriously, listen to this Charlie Christian pickup. Dude, it's like the first electric guitar pickup ever made. It is so bright and like almost like mid-heavy and clear, but it still has some bass. It's loud, dude. When you dig in, it like responds appropriately. When you pick light, it's good. It's so dynamic. Switch to the bridge dog ear P90, right? And the difference is insane, but the levels are the same. More bite, it cuts through a little bit better, and then the way that they interact with each other, and by the way, in the middle position, these two single coils are hum canceling. Man, it's three very distinct sounds, and all three are fucking awesome. Awesome. Only scales. I'm into that. I'm into what you're saying right now. We should start only scales. I'm glad that I can make your brain moist with joy. But yeah, they're Texas Toast Guitars, man. Special company. They've been around for a long time. You'll see their guitars online like everywhere, right? I just wish I want them to become a little bit more, I don't want to say mainstream, but I mean, if you're building this, you should be doing a lot. And I think the more that I can rep them, the better. I'm super excited. This week, I've got a bunch of content I'm diving into. And Texas Toast Guitars is for sure going to be a focal point of that. Just because they're really good dudes. They make amazing guitars. And, yeah. They deserve all the recognition possible. That's for sure. So, what do we want to talk about? We're just kind of chilling today. You know what I mean? We're just hanging out. Oh, I will say, I got to go see Greg Koch, if you guys saw that short that I made. Dude, the Koch Marshall Trio, it was unbelievable. Paul Gilbert was the headliner. I did not go all the way through Paul Gilbert, I'm going to be honest with you. But Greg Koch, the set list was great. They did, Cause We Ended as Lovers, Jeff Beck, Since I've Been Loving You by Led Zeppelin. They did some original stuff. All of it was just peak power trio vibes. The B3 player, Toby Lee Marshall, Hammond, right? With his right hand, he plays all the crazy lead key shit that you want to hear. With his left hand, he's playing like walking bass lines. Right? And I'm sat there, like, I was watching him do it, and it's like, the limb autonomy. I fuck up playing guitar, and the hands are doing the same thing. You're hitting for the same stuff. This is two totally different actions being performed simultaneously. If I had to guess, I would say the bass line portion is locked into muscle memory. He's not really thinking about the bass part of the song. He's probably focusing more on the melody side. I don't know that to be true. I'm just taking a guess, but man, it was like a lesson in what it means to be a good musician. Like, what does it mean to be a real musician? And the amp. So Paul Gilbert is playing two digital Fender Twins, right? Greg Koch is playing a Tone King Royalist. I believe it was the Royalist. He sounded so good. It's a Tone King Royalist and then his multi-effects board. Oh, dude. It's amazing. It was the Cockness Monster multi-effect unit, right? The Tone King Royalist amp, and then he played a 59 telly the whole night. And it was glorious. Oh my God. It was so good. It was probably the most fun power trio I've ever seen. If you ever get the chance to go see the Koch Marshall Trio, highly recommend, go do it. Oh man. In my last setup, I never played without some sort of reverb on. There's something to be said for the dry guitar tone. Right? No reverb, nothing crazy. Just the amp itself doing what it does. That sound right there, like there's so much power. I played an AC/DC riff. It's honestly a little too saturated for AC/DC. How crazy is that, by the way? Have you guys ever looked into when they separate out like instrument parts from classic music? It's nowhere near as big and distorted as you hear it. Isn't that crazy? Joe Bonamassa talks about that a lot. He's constantly talking about like the EQ of everything and how, you know, back in the day, the reason why it sounds so massive is because the guitars, they're only occupying a very specific frequency, and then the bass is coming in, like playing with the guitar. A lot of classic rock, the bass riff is the guitar riff, and what you wind up with is this really wide, like huge sounding tone, but it's not the guitar. I find that fascinating. At some point in my life, I'm going to do what Joe Bonamassa says, and I am going to invest in a 31 band EQ. I want to see, like, where does everything live? I think that's super cool. He said his guitar tone lives between 350 hertz and 2.5K. So if you ever go see Joe Bonamassa, like, the cymbals and keys and things like that are operating in higher frequencies. Floor toms and the bass are operating in the lower frequencies. You've got the singers kind of somewhere all in there as well. Joe's guitar is just perfectly in the mids. And I think that's really cool. I think that's something not a lot of people talk about, something not a lot of people learn about. I think that is super sick. Oh, man. Also, I would like to double down and say that the Line 6 Helix, this is the LT, it's not even the expensive one. This is the single greatest piece of gear I've ever had in my life. I can't wait to make a video on it. It's going to be a long form video too. But, what is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Technically, this thing is doing 9 stages of gain, 3 delays, 3 reverbs, a digital preamp, is controlling all the routing for the preamp swapping with the amplifier, a harmonic tremolo, a phaser, and then I've got this last button here. It activates a second effects loop, so I can connect this whole thing to a real physical pedal board if I ever decide to expand, and include analog pedals into this chain. I paid like $550 for this thing 2.5 years ago, 3 years ago. It's insane. One thing I do want to recognize, though, is the downside. There is something special to having your own pedal board, right? Like, there's a lot of pedal boards. This one is mine. These are my pedals, and all of this is tweaked just for me. It took me a while to get over that, you know? It really did. It took me a long time to be like, is it physical pedals? Is it mainstream brands? Is it not mainstream brands? I don't really fucking care. Like, I just want to get cool sounds that I think sounds cool. And the Line 6 Helix, just everything it does is good. I have no need for like another reverb pedal or another delay pedal. I thoroughly am smitten by what this does. The only exception, I think, like the Strymon stuff, if I was ever going to get another delay or reverb pedal, I would go balls out and get like a Strymon Big Sky or something like that. But unnecessary, right? Also, I am going to be getting back into doing like videos about pedals and stuff. So now I can just hook it directly into my Helix, and it'll be really easy to demo. I'm super, super stoked about that. Apologies for the lack of content the last like month and a half. I've really been trying to keep up with it. I am currently working a full-time job and running 4 YouTube channels. And Audibly Dumb is my favorite one. You guys are by far my favorite people. Thank you so much. My views have way dipped, but it's because my output has way dipped. And I was just going to upload something, but I don't want it to lack in quality. I refuse to do that. So ideally, and this is what I'm going to work on later today, you guys are going to get a short Monday through Friday, a long form video on Tuesdays and Fridays, and we're going to live stream every Sunday. And then my other 3 channels I'll work on in between all of that. You guys get the most work, though, by far. And I really appreciate to anybody who watches Audibly Dumb on a regular basis. It's truly an awesome thing. The first Audibly Dumb t-shirt should be arriving in about a week. I'm excited to start wearing that. Oh, man. Yeah, this week I'm doing a video on this guitar. I got a video I'm doing about flipside music. Yeah, just a bunch of stuff. Bunch of stuff. Subject change. Sir Lord Baltimore. Anybody ever heard of that band? Because they were a new one for me. Audibly Dumb Guitar Picks coming to a merch store near you soon. So Sir Lord Baltimore started in 1968. They are the first band. They're from Brooklyn, New York. Sir Lord Baltimore is the first band to have the term heavy metal used to describe them. Heavy metal was used to describe Sir Lord Baltimore before Sabbath or Zeppelin. And no one knows who the hell they are. I started listening to them. It's awesome. I don't know why no one knows who they are. I think they were from Brooklyn. Cool Guy Pie. We gotta hang on, I gotta hit this homie with a tasteful slide E chord. Thanks for coming back. There we go. Got that out of the way. That was necessary. Oh, man. But yeah, Sir Lord Baltimore. Why in the hell does, like, the foundation of heavy metal, like, nobody knows? And yeah, just the British invasion was so strong. Starting with the Beatles and just continuing through to, like, the early 70s, man. I don't know that there was a bigger cultural shift in history. And that's kind of a bold statement, but I do believe that to be true. Well, that's the last of that. Let's see. What have I been listening to lately? That's always a fun one. A lot of Government Mule. Got a lot of Government Mule going on. Sleeping with Sirens is releasing new music. That's pretty sick. There's an acoustic act called This Wild Life. They just released a cover of Post Malone's Circles. That's insane. I listened to Cochise by Audio Slave like 11 times this week. I don't know why. Kept coming on. And I just wasn't skipping it. Seosin's releasing new music. I'm still listening to a ton of Spirit Box. Hey, Wesley Snipes 9454. Watch your fucking mouth. This is a family stream. But at the same time, welcome, Wesley Snipes. Did you pay your taxes? You doing good? Where the hell's the new Blade movie? You did great stuff going into the 2000s, became a criminal, and then you were in The Expendables 3. Come on. We're going to take a sidestep on that. Wesley Snipes not paying his taxes. If you're worth $35 million and you owe $3.5 million, wouldn't you just pay that? Like, Les Paul, is it a Gibson Les Paul or an Epiphone Les Paul? I don't care either way. I'm just curious. Yeah, so Gibson necks, they get up there. They get real fat. I can't deal with a super slim neck, but if it's too chunky, all this goes to shit. 100%. Yeah, I will say, like, this is a Les Paul shape. It's pretty comfy. I prefer single cuts to double cuts. My only double cuts are my semi-hollows. Ooh. Let's break out another guitar. What do we want to hear? Do we want a telly or a semi-hollow? The fact we have options is nice. By strategy, I assume you meant Strat. All right. Semi-hollow, we're breaking out King. I do enjoy Strats, but I just prefer Tellys overall. So my main Telecaster Morrison is actually going to be getting converted here in a little bit. I'm taking out the neck humbucker and I'm putting 2 Strat pickups in there, and that's just kind of be my Strat. Ten times harder? 10 times harder. Go listen to the first Baltimore album, and then go listen to the first Black Sabbath album. Sabbath is a little harder, I'll give you that. 10 times? Nah. You're too rich to pay taxes? Well, that's the thing. Believe it or not, if you're like a business owner, there's ways to diversify your income and do all the fuckery. Like, yeah, the IRS tells you can do that. They're literally like, oh, hey, even if you don't own a business, there's ways to do that. They tell you can do it. That aside, if you don't engage in any of that, and you've got 40 million, pay the 4 million or whatever. Oh, even if it's 12 million, you still have $28 million. Just do it. If you're not going to start businesses and hide money and do the whole ultra wealthy person thing, pay your fucking taxes. Moving on. I support your right to be creative financially. But if you're not going to do that, pay your taxes. The end. We got to tune this bad boy up. I have not played King in a little bit, which, to be honest, is kind of insulting to this instrument. It really is. King is a wonderful example of a 335 style guitar. All right, let's listen to how this sounds real quick. I have not played King through this current version of the setup. I'm excited to hear this. okay. Oh, I just love it. There's like, I love Les Pauls, right? The vintage the vintage 335s, they call them burst killers, and you can see why. You would look at this and think like, and that's not really a rock guitar. Bullshit. They rock hard, dude. 335s with some low output pickups. These are Seymour Duncan 59s, right? I'm gonna switch to the high gain Friedman, and let's just see what happens. Guys, man. Yeah, but it's different, right? Chuck Berry, it's foundational rock and roll, but when we're talking saturated gain, man. Also, a rich person who pays their taxes, a shit ton of them. What is it? The top 10% pays 78% of the federal income tax of the United States. A lot of them. People who are wealthy by being employed. So if you're on a TV show, if you're an actor, if you're a musician, because even musicians, right? They are employees of their own band sometimes. Like, that's how it's set up. If you're collecting a paycheck and that paycheck is gigantic, you're paying a shit ton in taxes. A shit ton. If you're on a television show and you're not an owner in it, you're an employee, and they're paying you $15 million a year, you're a W-2 employee, you're paying federal income tax on that. A whole bunch. Professional athletes, I used to work with a guy who, he was an accountant, and he worked with the Tampa Bay Bucks, a lot of them. He told me, he was like, you should see the taxes these dudes have to pay. Taxes, and then the insurance was crazy too. Because I guess athletes have to pay insurance based on where they play. So if you play in a different state, you now have to pay insurance in that state. What is there, like 7 or 8 away games a year? That's a lot of money. Yeah. The billionaire people, they pay nothing because they find a way to like own nothing but still have a lot of money. It's crazy. But your 30 to 60 million dollar people, they pay a lot. Crazy. Hey, going to Chuck Berry real quick. Have you guys seen that thing where like the beginning of 30 of his best songs are all just Johnny Be Good? Like it's the same intro just over and over and over again for a bunch of different songs. It's crazy. The phaser really thinned that out. Hey, no politics in the chat, home slice. That's the real world. This ain't a place for the real world. To be honest with you, I didn't even really want to talk about taxes. But yeah, the real world has problems. Ain't no problems up in here. This is a safe space. You know what's crazy? Now, you do have to dial these in per guitar. That does kind of suck. I'm using the channel I developed for Lennon on King. Even though these have humbuckers, on the clean channel, it sounds thinner than the Texas Toast Memphis. That's fascinating. That's like kind of a learning moment there. But on that bridge pickup, nah, gent is drop Z, like System of a Down is way more articulate than that. Oh, speaking of kind of bands in that genre, like bands I've been listening to a lot, Deftones. Deftones is a straight up vibe, dude. That latest album from Deftones, oh my god. Unbelievable. Anybody here listen to that? Bop, 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 bop. But yeah, the new Deftones album, from beginning to end, man. Unbelievable. I'm going to try something here real quick. Play with the tone knob. I tell you what, we learned something here today. People think that on an electric guitar, the pickups are the thing that matters most, right? 95% of the sound is the pickups. Then you explain this to me. That Les Paul Jr., the Texas Toast Memphis, P90s are way brighter and way harsher than these humbuckers. Why does this guitar sound thinner than that? And by the way, there's actually a bass cut on this, right? I'm doing a bass cut on that first drive. So theoretically, like, that should be substantially thinner sounding than this and have way less bottom end. It's not the case. This is a much brighter sounding instrument than that, despite the pickups. So, suck it to the people that say tone woods don't matter. A band that nobody can hate? Yeah, Linkin Park. I've talked about it in the past. Linkin Park is a band that everybody from me to my brother to my mom to a 12-year-old, like everybody on some level enjoys Linkin Park. I want to say a band like Led Zeppelin, right? Yeah, see, you love Linkin Park. Everybody fucking does. It's like they wrote music that for whatever reason, when it came out, it just... When did Hybrid Theory come out? 98? Am I a little too early there? Yeah, I mean, that's... They say, like you just said, every band does have haters, but I feel like if you say you hate Linkin Park, you're just not being real. You're not being honest. Like, the songs are just too... Okay, Hybrid Theory dropped in 2000. I was a little early. But it's like, when you look at it, Hybrid Theory comes out, it takes the world by absolute storm. They did the Reanimation album, eh. They dropped Meteora. Faint was on there, Breaking the Habit, From the Inside, Numb, unreal. Let's go back to Hybrid Theory. Paper Cut. You're going to open your debut album with fucking Paper Cut? Ugh. That's insane. One Step Closer, Crawling, Runaway. In the end, like, that's what you're going to open yourself up to the world with. Reanimation, eh. And then Meteora, we kind of went through that a second ago. Faint, Breaking the Habit, Numb. I mean, crazy radio hits. They drop a live album with Somewhere I Belong. That's great. Minutes to Midnight. Bro, leave out all the rest. Bleed It Out. Shadow of the Day. What I've Done. I mean, Transformers. Banger, banger, banger. No More Sorrow. Valentine's Day. In Pieces. Like, for that to be your initial dush, 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 dush. Crazy. Let's dive into that. Green Day is another one. What band had the most insane first album? I'm going to throw Robin Trower. Oh, guys, we got a visitor. We got a visitor in the stream. Let's see. Here, bud. Oh, big stretch for the big man. Oh, hell yeah, dude. This is the first time Jax has come down to hang out during a stream. Guys, this is Jax. Jax is the shit. Foo Fighters, very solid call. Guns N' Roses, yeah, dude. By the way, Foo Fighters, that newest album, Your Favorite Toy, unbelievable. Well, hang on. The Color and the Shape was not their first album. The first album was self-titled. That song, Big Me, oh, dude. But then they dropped The Color and the Shape, and that's like Monkey Wrench, My Hero, Everlong. Yeah, crazy. Oh, sorry. I was specifically saying like debut albums. I definitely will. Homie gets a ton of treats. I love this cat, dude. Jax, I'm happy you came down for the stream, pal. It's because I'm not playing guitar. He hates loud guitar. He hates guitar in general. The moment I start playing, he leaves. But when I'm down here like editing videos and stuff, he hops in my lap and he chills. Oh, man. But yeah, like, I wonder what Google answers that as. Oh, he's wicked chill, dude. He's like an Apex cat, so like when he fucking sees stuff, he like springs into action mode super quick. And he'll test you too. He purposely will piss you off sometimes just to let you know, like, hey dude, I'm the man. But then you also get this. Yeah, he's super sick. I've had him for about 4 years. He's awesome. I had a cat for like a decade. She only lived to be 10. She passed away. And then like a year and a half later, I was like, I want to get another cat. Boom. I got this guy. And he is just awesome. So when you look up best first albums of all time, Guns N' Roses is what pops up. Let's be real. Your first attempt at an album is Appetite for Destruction. Yeah. That probably is the biggest ever, huh? Jimi Hendrix's debut album, Pretty Insane. Oh. I'm going to throw... Thank you, Google. Boston's debut album is one of the best debut albums ever. Yes, Bleach is the shit. But yeah, Boston, that first album is insane. Matter of fact, I'm going to save that real quick. Unreal. I'm going to go ahead. Boston. And we're just going to save that album right now. But like, More Than a Feeling, Foreplay Long Time, Hitch a Ride. What? I know, bud. It's crazy. That's some crazy stuff. Yeah, Boston is unbelievable. I think if you're a band and your first album is super insane, that's almost bad. Like, I kind of want, like, if I'm in a band, the first album to be okay, the second one to be better, and then by the third album, you want to be operating on that higher frequency. Going from nothing to 100, it's a lot of pressure. It's kind of like making content. If you make content and your second video goes viral, you're like, oh God, what the hell do I do? Whereas if you're a couple hundred videos in and then something happens, well, you're a little bit more experienced. Do you understand? Yeah, I'm glad to see Boston getting some love, man. The musicianship was crazy. We're gonna fucking scoop. Euro. Say what's up. Say what's up to the camera, bro. He just smacked me in the face with his tail, bastard. Mwah, I love you. Get out of here. I'm just going to say one more time. I love that cat. I hope he comes down here for more streams and hangs out. If you get a chance, the demo tape for Boston's first album is on YouTube. Definitely worth checking out. Hey, thanks a ton. Appreciate you. ELO, don't listen to a ton. Largely unfamiliar, but I will give them a listen. Oh, that is just, that is wonderful. That was a Jack White tune. I really love Jack White. Jack White and the White Stripes, bro. Damn. Yeah, Tom Schultz is legendary. Let's see. Interesting. So they released Appetite for Destruction, and then waited, and then that's interesting. I didn't know that. In the age of the internet, we kind of think you launch something and then just does, right? But yeah, I guess not so much. All right. I do believe it is time for me to call it, ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentle nerds? I gotta find a better way to say that. But I do believe that I am going to get started on some other stuff for the day. I got a lot of work to do today. I hope you all have a fantastic rest of your Sunday. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. We are going to be doing it again. Going to be doing it again next Sunday, starting between 10 and 10:15 a.m. I hope that you guys had a good time. I certainly did. And thank you for being patient with me while I figure out OBS and doing all of that. I hope it sounded a lot better. I hope it was a little bit more fun to listen to. Audibly Nerds. Hell yeah, dude. I am going to hit us with a little bit of an outro here. Let's see here. My name is Zach. This has been AudiblyChill. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate you guys so much. Really appreciate you guys. I hope you all have a fantastic Sunday, and tip your waitress, whatever, you know what I mean? Take care, everybody. Hope you have a wonderful, wonderful day. Bop, 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 bop. And...